Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, as you can see, we have an update on the Venturi compressor. I think the last video that I did was November the 17th or the 27th of 2018. And I was supposed to do a 6 months update, and I decided not to because I wanted to run the hell out of the compressor. And I just feel like 6 months, in all honesty, it's not enough time to give a fair assessment on an update of something. So I let it go for quite a while. So now we're looking at about a year and a half later. This is the second compressor. This is the replacement to my original one that broke some over 2 years ago, because I think I had that first compressor about 6 to 8 months or something like that. And then I got this one as a replacement, and I told you guys I'd do a 6 months video. But like I said, it's been a year and a half, so it's been since November 2018 that I posted when I first got the replacement. So today we're going to take a quick look of some thoughts, overall thoughts on the compressor, what I'm doing a little bit differently, and maintenance, because it's time to change oil, change the water that's in it. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll get back to the overview of the compressor. All right, guys, the first thing I need to do is perform basic maintenance on this unit, which is pretty simple. Just a matter of changing fluids. So you need distilled water for the cooling system. You need your oil here, which I will get into that in a moment after we're done. I'm using Royal Purple for the lubricate the internal system. You'll need a set of assorted wrenches, Allen wrenches, to drain the oil. And for just basic tightening, you'll need screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, maybe a couple other wrenches, 9/16 thing like that. While we are servicing this, we're going to go ahead and go through everything, make sure all the fittings are tight, nothing's leaking, which I know it's not. But we're going to do it anyway because it literally has been a year and a half since I've changed this, but it's been a year and a half since I've torqued down on everything because I wanted to run this unit to see, for longevity. The last thing you're going to need is definitely something to clean your hands with. And in keeping up with today's crazy pandemic, I find toilet tissue to be the best remedy for wiping oil and your hands and things like that. So we'll be back, guys. Okay, guys, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to replace the water. Very simple. At least this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to remove the return line that comes up from the motor and through the pump. And this is going to be, I just pull this tube out, put it in here. Which, as you guys can see, I have a bottle here. I'm just going to put the tube in here. And here we go, turn it on. Not the compressor, just the cooling system. And here we go. Now we're just going to let that drain and we'll be back. Now that we're done with that, replace the coolant return line back into the container. There you go. All right, guys, now that we're done draining the water, let's go ahead and fill the coolant tank back up. Now for me, guys, I'm gonna go about halfway in. I think there is a coolant level on here, but I know it's about halfway, if not more. So let's see where a gallon gets us. Yeah, a gallon does a lot. So that's about, it's probably 3/4 of the way full. And that is good enough for me. So there we go, that's done. Put the cap back on. I'm actually going to turn the coolant system on just to let the fresh water circulate before I move on to changing the oil. See the bubbles? Getting all the bubbles out of the system. See it coming here? You definitely want to do this. You want to flush all the bubbles out. I want it to get as much of the old water out of the system as possible. All right, guys, next, pretty simple. We're just going to replace the oil, and we're just going to put it in here. And these units, what I like is they don't take very much oil, so should be pretty quick. This is pretty self-explanatory, guys. It's like changing oil in a vehicle. First thing I'm actually going to do is remove the breather, which is this piece right here. Going to remove that. So when it drains, it can actually drain pretty thoroughly. All right, there's a breather. Let's go ahead and take this, undo the screw, undo the drain plug. This is metric Allen. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to try to turn the unit on and see if we can get the oil to come out a little bit faster. I'll just bump it. All right, guys, what I was just doing is, because I have the breather out, more air is coming out of here as opposed to the drain plug. So I just kind of bumped my finger over it and it made it come out a lot faster. But just be careful you don't get a lot of oil all over the place, and don't run it too long with no lubrication. Remember, this is metal on metal reciprocation. So just until you see the last little air bubbles coming out of the oil, just turn the unit off. You don't want to keep running it. You might, possibly burn up a head or mess something up internally. I'll kind of show you guys here. That's about all that was left in there. Like I said, it doesn't take very much. 1 quart will normally last you probably 1 or 2 fills depending. But I think I used probably half a quart, and this is all that's left. A little low, but and it's still purple. You can still definitely see purple, kind of purple haze in the film there. So it is very purple oil. All right, guys, let's go ahead and put the drain plug back in. She's pretty empty. Make sure on the drain plug you still have on the little nylon bushing that's on there to keep the oil from leaking out. At least I think it's nylon. Okay, guys, the next thing we're going to do is fill her up with royal purple. All right, guys, one thing you want to remember is this is your sight glass, and right here is a red mark, and it goes all the way across. So when you fill this up, you want your oil to come to this red mark and stop. Do not fill this all the way up. You'll get a lot of blowout in your drain plug, and you have to kind of understand mechanics. These pistons reciprocating, it makes pressure in here inside the case, and the more oil you put in here, the more it's going to overflow out of the breathe hole, and you're going to end up with a mess of oil all over your floor. So you got to have the right amount to let the oil hit the reciprocating mass, and the reciprocating mass makes air, and it'll breathe through here without getting oil in the breather hole. So make sure you only fill up to that red mark. All right, there we go, guys. We're done. All right, let's go ahead and put the breather back on. And we're done with this portion of it. Guys, now that we've changed the coolant system, which is just distilled water, and we've replaced the lubrication, which is Royal Purple, we're going to go through the whole unit, clean it down, and then I'll come back with my overall thoughts and impressions after a year and a half. So stay tuned, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. We are done with the maintenance of the unit. Where do I start? I guess I'll pick up from where I left off. A year and a half ago was the last time I did a review on this unit. And I said I would be back in 6 months, and I decided to wait 3 times as long. So it has now been basically a year and a half. She has ran really well. She has been flawless. This is a replacement unit. Let me give an opinion, or let me put this out in the air. I'm not sure if they changed something internally since the first model that I bought, or if it's the Royal Purple oil. I will give a lot of credit, and that's not to take credit away from Venturi, but I will give a lot of credit to Royal Purple. After my first unit, I used, during my first unit, I used Pennzoil. And a lot of people were using Royal Purple. And I decided with this unit, when I got this replacement, I would buy Royal Purple. So I've been using Royal Purple for a year and a half. And it has lasted 3 times as long as the first unit. Whether or not something changed internally on the in-between, maybe a first or second generation, I can honestly say, because I can't say that for I don't know about these units, but what I can give credit to is Royal Purple. That is for sure. It has definitely seemed to make a difference. It is synthetic. One thing I can say from a mechanical standpoint, when you use synthetic, I'm in the elevator industry and we use hydraulic oil, and that's what's used to push an elevator up and down. You get a lot of bleed off of oil. Oil basically evaporates out of the tank unit into the atmosphere. So when you go into some elevator machine rooms, you will see oil on the pump unit itself on the outside, and you think something's leaking. Nothing's leaking. Oil will evaporate and get into the atmosphere, and because it's so heavy, it just lands back on the equipment. So in saying that, because I'm using synthetic, it is very slippery. And what I notice on the unit is everything is super tight, but you will get leaks, or it seems like you will get oil on the unit. And you can't really tell where it's coming from. Don't be afraid. Don't, get scared. Wipe it off. It's just what oil does. And a lot of it is because it is normally hot where a lot of us live. Like here in California, during the summertime when I'm running this unit, it is 100, 110 degrees outside, and I'm going shooting the next day and I have to fill my tanks up. I highly recommend Royal Purple over any other oil. I'm gonna put that out there. This seems to be the ticket. The unit itself does not require a lot of maintenance. I haven't had to replace any seals, any gaskets, just the typical fluids. I've taken the covers off, as you guys saw in the previous videos, and I do that for cooling purposes. I want the air to escape out of the unit as fast as possible. The heat, that is, because the heads get very hot. And the other thing is I run a fan sometimes. I'll bring a fan from in the house when it's 100 degrees. I'll put a fan blowing across the unit to also help with cooling. So I'm pretty sure that has helped the longevity of this unit. As far as the reliability, like I said, guys, I have 6 tanks, 5 carbon fiber SCBA tanks and 1 aluminum 80 cubic foot 3000 PSI tank. Probably every weekend, if not every other weekend, I'm going out shooting, and I run through all 5 of those tanks every outing that I'm in because I shoot a lot. So when I refill, I'm refilling all 5 tanks, not the aluminum, but she's been flawless. She's been flawless since November 2018. I have no complaints, no smells, no burning, no overheating. I think the highest I've seen it is like 71 degrees Celsius, and I think you can go up to 90. I think they said if you ever see it getting up to 90, you have a problem. but 70 or 71 Celsius is what I've seen, the hottest. We rely on these, we air gunners rely on compressors, and the longer compressor runs reliably, the better it is for us, because these things are not cheap, and it's another, $1,200 up to $3,000 depending on what unit you get. That's just another expense. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll give the Venturi a big thumbs up. Thanks for joining in, guys. See you on the next one.